the farm field permission where the last time I was here I found the 1859 Indian head penny, and on my way out of the field I found the Spanish real, and that was that mound you see right there is where there's evidence of an old structure, residence, homestead. Could have been a starter house, a cabin. So I'm going to head back out to that mound today and just kind of grid pattern back and forth across it and see if I get any more interesting relics. So as soon as I get a decent signal or a find, I'll show you what I get. Just got a pretty decent signal here on this spot, and I dug out the plug, and when I turned over the plug I saw this, which sure looks like the impression of a coin, and I think it fell off the plug here, so let me do a little bit of pinpointing. Alright, there it is. Oh, yes. And we have a beautiful big copper large cent. So let me just clean this off if I can, and I'll let you know what it is. Okay, I've cleaned up the coin. I'm on the mound here where that home, cabin, whatever used to be. This is where I found the Spanish real. And I had a feeling there'd be a large cent here. I just kind of had that feeling. It was a beautiful 1847 braided hair large cent. And that's pretty nice find. I'm really happy with that. It's in really decent condition, so yeah, persistence paid off. So I got a little more to do. Hopefully I'll find something else. Well, this is my last signal I'm going to do for the day because it's getting late, and the numbers didn't really indicate a coin, but it kind of looks like the edge of a coin here. So I'm going to try to pop this out, see what it is. Ooh. Wow. Look at that. I don't know what that is, but all right, well, there it is, whatever it is, and I'll clean it up when I get home and let you know what it is. But very cool, last find of the day. So what we have here is a sporting button. At first I thought it was a livery button, but that's more common to English button types. I haven't seen much of that in any of the detecting research I've done here in America, and so the sporting button comes up a lot. Now this picture coming up next is a livery button with a similar image to what I have, but these next few pictures show a series of sporting buttons and the quality of the gilt and finish that would have been what this button would have looked like when it was new. Quite a beautiful button. But one of the things I learned too about extracting this, as you saw in the video, I was kind of rough with it. There's a tendency to get excited. I thought it was a coin. I thought it was a solid object. And there's a tendency to rub things, as detectorists will tell you, and I think I did some damage to the interior cotton by rubbing this. So now it doesn't look as good as that. So I've learned that lesson. Okay, trip number 3 to the Homesteads field here. There's a rise just past that telephone pole that was, I think, the Barber homestead. And off towards that wood line is the McDougle homestead. But, you know, that's questionable. Sometimes these maps weren't 100% accurate on location and names, but that's what I'm going with for now because that's all I have to go on. But just ahead there, to the left of that telephone pole, is where I found the 1847 large cent. So I got a beautiful day to start exploring some more areas here, see if I can find anything. Well, spent about 4 hours with not a lot of good targets to dig. Just trying to really crisscross in a grid pattern in some of these concentrated areas where the homes used to be, so I don't miss anything, and haven't been having much luck. But I'm back over to the one site that's the little mound where I found the 1847 and the silver coin, and I think I might have something here. It's a signal much like a butt would be. I think that might be what it is. So. Tiny little button, 2-piece button they call it. And it's rounded. You see. So that's pretty interesting. Is it a lady's, a child's? Pretty small. So happy to have that finally. Well, 10 minutes after that button, I got a pretty decent signal that indicated to me possibly a coin, not as high as what a large cent would be, maybe like an Indian head penny. And I just flipped out the plug and I think I see something that looks like a coin, so let's see. No, it is another button. This is a flat button. Looks to be very old. Probably early 1800s, so I like buttons a lot, so happy to have that one. Well, I just got a signal that was about the same as what it would have been for a button. So let's see what this is. Part of a pewter spoon. There's the handle, and there's the back part of the bowl, I think. Definitely pewter, so it's pretty old. Very cool find. Okay, I've got a consistent signal here of 45 to 48, 9. And I believe that's the pretty good chance it's going to be a button. Nice little 175 to 200-year-old button. I'll clean it up and see if there's anything on it. Here's the button all cleaned up. It looks like it has a name on the face of the button, which is the first one I've ever found like that. I'll have to do some research on that and see if I can get a manufacturer's name on it, but always happy to find an old button worn by somebody perhaps 175 to 200 years ago. Very cool. So in cleaning up this concave button, it says something and company extra on the bottom, and then I was looking at this jewel type button that I found on a separate day in the same field, and I realized they look very similar in diameter, so I popped it in to the metallic part, and it fit perfectly. So I had found the second piece of a two-piece button on a completely separate day. It's got a pretty good signal here, right around 70, 68 to 72. Might be an Indian head penny at that range. Could be a big type of button, a bigger size button. It might be a lead pistol ball, but let's see what we got. Clean that up, see if I can figure it out. I have no idea what this is. It's heavy. It's very dark. Almost glassy looking. But it does seem to have some sort of numbers or perhaps a lettering, a name of some sort. I'll have to check that out with my magnifying glass when I get home. Well, I still don't know what this is, and if that is any writing on there, as you see on the side, I can't tell what it is. But what is interesting, it is the same material as that jeweled button we just looked at, and it is detectable by the detector, so it's a mystery to me. Well, a very consistent 72, very clear tone. I know you can't hear it, it's in my headphones, but it sounds pretty strong. Could be a button, could be a coin. I'm going to turn this off and get ready to dig it. brick right in there. That's a pretty good sign. Not that there's metal in there, but that there was, you know, there were people living here in another time. Okay, let me check with the detector. Hang on. This thing is pinpointing pretty close to the surface here. Could be junk, aluminum, pull tab. Okay, well, also kind of look at the button right here. Let's see. Yes. It is a beautiful old button with a very interesting design on it. Let me see if I can clean it up a little bit. Well, this design is a log cabin. It is a convex two-piece button. Still can't see if there's any writing on the back. I gotta clean it up more, and you know, my eyes are bad. I need glasses to read things now, so I don't have glasses out here. But I just recently saw this same kind of button. I don't know if it was when I was doing research on another button, or if it was in a video on one of the metal detecting channels that I watch. But I know this is identifiable because it has a very distinct image I've seen before, more than one time. So I'll do some research and then let you know later on in the video what this is and approximately when it was made. William Henry Harrison was a member of the Whig political party, a long-defunct political party in American politics. And his opponent, Martin Van Buren, they named him Van Ruin in order to blame him for the economic problems. The Democrats in turn ridiculed Harrison by calling him Granny Harrison, the petticoat general, because he resigned from the army before the War of 1812 ended. Yet he was also a very well-decorated and successful member of the army. Smear campaign. They would also ask voters what Harrison's name would be when spelled backwards. No sirrah. Tactics haven't changed at all in 200 years for politics. They also cast him as a provincial, out-of-touch old man who would rather sit in his log cabin drinking hard cider than attend to the administration of the country. Well, this strategy backfired when Harrison and running mate John Tyler adopted the log cabin and hard cider as campaign symbols. They used banners and posters and buttons, of course. Harrison only served for exactly 1 month as president, the shortest term in American history. He died a month after taking office, and the circumstances of his death are pretty interesting. Another tone consistent with a smaller button. I didn't bother filming the shovel part of this because it's becoming a pain to try to film and manipulate that shovel, but I do have a chunk of dirt here that's got the signal coming that it's coming from, so let me pinpoint it and just double check and see. wasn't in that little one. Okay, hang on. There it is, whatever it is. Okay, let's see here. Oh, look at that. A little bullet. A little lead bullet. That's very old. Very interesting. Found another one like this last week. It was kind of smashed up a bit. And of course, you get those lead pistol balls about this size. They're round, but this is cool because it's a bullet shape. You know, it's kind of unusual. And hopefully I can find out what caliber it is and what kind of gun fired it. My research shows that this is a .25 caliber automatic Colt pistol lead bullet, dating back to as early as 1905, when it was invented. Lead turns quite white when it's been in the ground for a long time, and you can see this is a very white lead bullet. So it could be, 115 years old, definitely early 20th century. Just found this pewter doodad, very old. Maybe it's a pull for a small drawer. But yeah, still finding stuff out here, so I'll keep on going. Got another one of those lead pistol balls. It's fired. You can see it's squashed. And it's about the 7th, 8th one I found here in this field. Consistent tone, pretty good numbers. I'll dig a plug out and see what it is. I'll turn the camera on when I get a signal on the pinpointer. Whatever it is in this plug of dirt right here. Okay, that looks like a bullet, a lead bullet. Interesting little star on the end of that. I found one like this at another location that I'm detecting, and the consensus is it's a fairly modern slug. But who knows? I'll have to do some research on this. Well, I didn't film this one because the signal just seemed oddly too much like a big chunk of metal. I was getting a nice 82 on the AT Pro here, loud, which has been indicating to me big pieces of metal, because when I crisscrossed the other way on the swing, it was scratchy. But I dug this thing out, and I've got an old button that has an amazing amount of gilt, gold gilt left on it. So I'll clean that up better when I get home and see if I can get an ID off the back mark. Here are some things I found that I didn't film. Nice old horse tack buckle. Big old chain. Big spike of some sort. Maybe a Rains guide. Part of an old spoon. And then there's all the bullets I found. Bullets here. Some of the pistol balls. And just odds and ends, pieces of crockery, shotgun shell. But I still think there's more to be found here, so I'll be back. Just an end note, I wanted to point out that on 2 of these buttons I found in that field, the thread was still intact from the shirt that it was sewn to, and little pieces of material of the shirt itself, which is just totally unexpected, and I can't believe that probably was made out of cotton, survived that long, tumbling around in a cornfield for 200 years. But there you can see that thread still in the shank. Pretty incredible stuff.